So I'm really excited. What I've got going right now is the web interface. It's really basic, it's really just giving me the tools to further do testing and troubleshooting and debugging and that sort of thing. But it's really going to be kind of the foundation for sending commands and storing and tracking logs of what actually happened with ROVer. So you might remember from previous video episodes we looked at the Android app-based controls, where I had that kind of slider form for acceleration, speed, and distance. So basically, for the purposes of right now, I need to be able to do the same sort of commands for ROVer, but through the web interface, which will actually be his kind of main command center. As you can imagine, the brain is actually going to be situated on ROVer himself. So obviously, I'm not going to be able to, kind of chase him around in order to enter commands. And I want to be able to not only personally be able to send commands to him from my mobile phone or my laptop or whatever, but also to engage you guys, the kind of the robotics community, to play with ROVer and help test things and try things, and I don't know what, but it'll just be fun to do. So the whole idea has always been for it to be web-based. So in that vein, even when you might recall me talking about the Android app, the Android app actually talks to the web server. So it's from the very beginning, the web server has been kind of the clearinghouse for all messages from the Android app to ROVer and vice versa. So now, again, taking kind of the next step in making ROVer kind of cordless, unplugging him or untethering him from the laptop by USB, we need to get the web interface going. So I wanted to share that with you guys, and it's just version, I don't know, 0.1 or something like that, but it's something, and yeah, and then there's a little bit of a secret that I'll tease you guys with, and yeah, anyway, let's get to it. Let me show you what I've got going so far. So for those of you who have been coming to ROVer's site, you'll recognize the new menu item here, the command center, and we'll get to that in a second. What I wanted to start with was the activity feed for ROVer. So this is actually for today, the 16th, and you'll see that it's already quite long. Lots of testing and troubleshooting and that sort of stuff. But this is actually on the site now and available to all of you to have a look at, and it'll be improving over time, of course. But basically, fundamentally, it's a log of the commands sent, and in the future, all other kind of logs that pertain to ROVer. So for example, right now I'm really just troubleshooting the drive commands. So all of these are drive forward commands, and I'm just kind of going through the process of storing values and figuring out kind of where the failures in communication between ROVer and the server and the Android app and all that. So very simple, but it allows kind of each of the entries will have whatever details are relevant to it. So for example, these are drive commands, so you've got acceleration, speed, and distance, just as we saw before. What's fun is, let me post another command from ROVer's Android app, and we'll see what that looks like on here. So you'll recognize the Android app interface here for sending commands, and in the background when I submit this, you'll hear the click. There's the click. And if we do a refresh here, that was actually really quick, so let me try that again. So if I send that in and we do another refresh, here we see the fetched status, and we just heard the click. If I do another refresh here, it'll change to executed in a second. and there's the executed. And there's the click for rover turning off. But that was the yeah, nice, simple, but effective. So it keeps track of the commands being sent. And the same is true of the web interface. So for example, if we flip over to rover's command center and we send in the same command, so for example over here, just so we know that it's different, we saw a distance of 31, speed 3, acceleration 10. So here we'll set different values, and I'll send this over. Same drive forward command. So it's going over. We'll go over here, refresh. So we've got a new command, waiting for it to be fetched. There's the click for rover. So if we do a refresh, and in the future, the refresh won't be necessary. And there it is, executed. You'll also notice that the longitude and latitude values for the location were updated once it was executed, and that's because the web app obviously doesn't know the longitude and latitude until after rover responds, because we're actually getting the location from rover, not from whatever laptop you might be using. But yeah, pretty neat. And yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about kind of the secret that I wanted to share with you guys about the command center. So I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah, programmers among you might think of it as pretty basic and everything, but yeah, it's exciting to see the pieces starting to come together. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is really kind of engaging with all of you guys, kind of the broader, greater robotics community, and playing with rover and exploring kind of what the possibilities are. And in that vein, one of the reasons why I want to do a web interface is to be able to share that command of rover. So the command center will be quasi-public. It will be available online via rover's website, and it'll be somewhat by invitation. And one of the ways by which you can get that invitation is by noting those secret codes that you've been seeing in the videos this season. So it's not quite ready yet, but when it is ready, there'll be a form on the command center. You'll enter in the values that you've recorded from this season's secret codes, and if you get them all right, you'll be able to register and have access to the command center. So the specifics of it yet are kind of up in the air, and I need to figure them out, but I thought it would be a fun way of making sure the people who get access to those tools and to play with rover are the people who really have kind of followed his journey in kind of getting revived. And those people who actually followed the journey, they'll probably be the ones who are kind of most interested in the technology and kind of all the nuances of building a robot like rover. So yeah, anyway, that's the idea, and I'll also be posting on rover's site in the command center an explanation of this, but that actually won't be posted on the site until next season. So if you're watching this, you're on the inside track. Yeah, so anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, and it'll be an evolution, of course. So if you keep checking back with rover's site and watching these videos, you'll see and hear what's new. And until next time, take care. Cheers.